Genevieve, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Hello, welcome back to Star Wars.
Hi, Brandon. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Now, I want to go to the beginning of your Star Wars journey, if you will. You joined this franchise nearly 2 decades ago with Revenge of the Sith. Did you have any idea when you took on Mon Mothma back then that you'd be getting opportunities now in 2022 to explore the character and things like Andor?
I had no idea. That was when I was kind of brand new. I was quite young and was one of my first roles. It was an extraordinary thing to step into, to be a part of. I remember it really fondly. I had no idea that I would get the opportunity to be here now to flesh her out. It's a wonderful story.
Yeah, that's pretty cool for you. I bet it's a really fun journey. You've played Mon Mothma at various points in the Star Wars timeline through the years now. When we meet her in Andor, can you kind of give me an introduction into the headspace she's in, what you had to do to understand where the character was and where she's going now?
Well, we know Mon Mothma. We've seen her in different Star Wars pieces. We know she's a very public figure. We know she's very noble. We know she's very regal. Where we start in Andor is in such a different place than we've ever seen her before. She is so far from that bunker in Yavin. She is steeped in empire. She is navigating a political class in high society. She looks different. She feels different. She is managing a very male-dominated political world. And her voice in opposition is a very lonely voice. So we see a woman who is up against it. We see a woman who is not listened to, a woman who is overwhelmed by an autocracy or a very dangerous rolling empire.
So that actually leads me perfectly into my next question, because we've heard about how Andor is going to be a story that tells us how how Cassian became the character we saw in Rogue One. We've seen Mon Mothma be very brave in front of the very male-dominated Senate and other dangerous settings like that. I'd love to hear about the growth you got to explore in the character and see how she becomes this fully formed character in the other places we've seen her in the Star Wars world.
Well, I am so grateful to Disney and to Tony Gilroy for starting her in such a wildly different space than we have seen her before, because what it allows for is a journey. We know where she has to end up in Rogue One, but we don't know how she gets there. So we're starting almost antithetical. And I am as fascinated as you will be in how that happens. We know that there's going to be some really tricky moments for her. I can't imagine it's going to be easy. I can imagine it's dangerous and there will be costs to it. And I think that's where great drama lies. So I hope people are excited to see that.
Mm-hmm. I would say your character has among the highest stakes of anybody in the show. A lot to lose.
I think she does. I think that's compelling to watch.
It's agree.
Certainly compelling to feel it, to feel how far you can fall and how dangerous that could be.
Oh yeah. Have you ever found yourself through the years of playing this character looking at what Caroline Blakiston did in the original trilogy and trying to emulate that?
I always go back to Caroline's work. When I first played her originally, when I was a very young actor, I studied that scene from Return of the Jedi again and again and again, because I felt I had to be really respectful to the work because she originated it. So I worked very hard when I was working in Revenge of the Sith to really pay attention and to pay homage to her as an actor. I continue to go back to there because Caroline originated her with George Lucas. And I have great respect that in early 1980s, George wrote a female leader of a rebel alliance. That was as ambitious then as it is now. So I am keen to flesh her out. I am keen to see that woman and to fill the shoes of this woman that I love.
Kyle, Denise, how y'all doing? Welcome to Star Wars.
Thank you
really
so
well,
much.
man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. First of all, when you get cast in Star Wars and you're not allowed to tell anybody about it, who do you tell? What's the first thing you do?
Everyone.
Yeah, pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone I knew.
Everyone I knew. Anyone who would listen.
Yeah.
I don't think I really realized how big a deal it was, because I had never watched Star Wars. So it wasn't really I was like, oh, okay, well, I think I have this job but the pandemic had started, so the world was being turned inside out and upside down. So it didn't have the sort of, I don't know, it didn't really feel like a thing until yesterday. And we were doing this junket and we both started realizing, oh my God,
Holy
we're
shit.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
and now we're talking to Brandon. Like, what? This is huge.
Yeah, huge. Huge. Can you believe you're speaking to Brandon? Unbelievable.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
When your characters in the show are members of the Imperial crew, does that mean like what's the vibe at craft services? Are you staying away from all the rebels and the quote unquote good guys?
Oh, I didn't really get to see many people except the Imperials.
We ate in our own little evil corner.
Yeah, and you see, the thing is, I make sure I only eat with evil people anyway, just in life. So stay away from the riffraff.
Yeah.
Anyone dirty. I didn't want to be with anyone that had dirt on them.
Oh God, those rebels are filthy. Yeah, no, Kyle, your character, he kind of gives me vibes of other characters in the Star Wars world who are, they like to abuse their power a bit. They feel themselves when they're given a little power. Did you find yourself like looking at characters like Kylo Ren or Darth Vader or others in the Star Wars world and finding inspiration or parallels, or did you fully want to make this your own fresh take on a completely new character?
Yeah, I really wanted to just find a completely new character, but that's also what Tony had written, was just a completely new character I'd never seen in Star Wars before. I mean, it's all got elements of, all these Star Wars characters they're based on life. They're based on archetypes. They're based on things that we know from our own humanity. And I think what Tony created with Cyril and also Dedra are really three-dimensional kind of villains that are conflicted, or Cyril's probably more conflicted than Dedra, I guess. But those great villains in Star Wars, though, I mean, they live in the walls, I think, when you're on the set anyway. So they're probably in there somewhere.
And for me, I think Dedra being a woman is just it's a bigger deal than I could have thought. Like when I sat on one of my first days and I'm in that huge room and there's like 30 men sitting around and one very quiet other woman who didn't speak. And I thought, she's just like, I am going to get to the top of this because I refuse to be like, there's another character who's like lazy. He's lazy and he's messy. Like his Imperial officer uniform is messy and she can't bear it. So she wants to, like, she's so excellent, Dedra, that she just happens to be in a fascist regime. Characters like this are quite dangerous, It's like, God, she would have been great in the Rebels, but they're just too dirty.
They're too dirty. We both tailored our own outfits. Anyway.
That was another thing. So when I did my first fitting and I said, I really love the outfit, but it has to be all like nipped in and tucked and made. And the designer said, that's so funny because Cyril had to have his tailored as well. And I was like, we're perfect.
Perfect for each other.
Perfect match.
And that's how it happens. All of a sudden,
they're going to live happily ever after in a clean, tailored universe.
Just working for Darth Vader. Why not?
Absolutely. Or is he working for us in the end?
Or that. Now, Kyle, I'm pretty sure the first look at Cyril was revealed as a Lego minifigure. Like that was the first time we knew the character's name and got a full look at it. What is it like to be immortalized as a little plastic man for the first time? Does that set in?
He didn't know until when? When did you find out about the Lego thing?
I've got a very good family friend who's really into Star Wars and really into Lego. And he's got all the stuff. And he just sent me this screenshot of like linking all the dots and all the arrows. He's like, from the teaser trailer, this is you. And I was like, are you telling me that I'm a Lego? And like, I had a meltdown. Like, I don't really know where I can go from here, though, because it's like Star Wars and also Lego. I'm the really cool uncle right now for my 7-year-old nephew. So like,
Yeah.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
And when I first saw Kyle in his costume, I was like, "Oh my God, you look like a little toy.
Look like a Lego.
Like he looked like a Lego in that greenish one, in the green
Yeah,
with those boots.
Yeah.
I mean,
My kind of flight outfit.
yeah.
That's awesome. I love that you guys are having a good time. You two are my favorite parts of the show, so I had to shout you out on that. My last thing, did you keep anything from the set?
No, we would be killed.
Oh man, yeah, we would have been blow darted.
Seriously, man,
instantly.
we are on borrowed time as it is.
Yeah.
There are ears and eyes everywhere. Disney is. Yesterday we were joking that if we said the wrong thing, like a big claw was going to come in and just come down and pluck us out.
I've seen that claw in another Disney movie. But
yeah.
There you go.
Thank you both so much for your time. Congratulations.
To finally
Thanks
get
so
to
much,
work
man.
with you.
Okay, so first of all, when you join Star Wars, I'm sure they tell you you can't tell anybody. So my question is, who do you tell? What's the first thing you do?
Well, I really had troubles with this because I was like, I'm going to tell my mom, obviously, and I'm going to call my mom and tell her all about it. But then I was like, then the whole island of Puerto Rico is going to know. So I was like, don't want that. And I think I really shared it with my partner because he was with me while I was filming. So I would sort of come home and he would help me read lines and stuff. He hasn't read any of the scripts, doesn't really know everything, but he knows a little bit of what sort of I go through. So I think I'm still keeping him. I think protecting a fan's experience or protecting anyone's experience when watching a show like this is so crucial and so important. But I also didn't want to tell anybody.
Also,
I try to forget myself.
Yeah,
so
you also have to. Yeah, and you're protecting loved ones by not putting them on that spoiler radar because you never know when people know, you know. But that's fun. I'm happy for you. And we don't know very much about Bix yet. I got to see the first 4 episodes. I thought you did an awesome job playing this character. I'd love to hear what you can say to the fans who haven't seen this yet. How would you introduce this character to people? How would you describe her?
I think I would describe her as incredibly bold and fearless. She is truly she's, I don't know how you would call this, maybe like a mechanic. She's the manager of a sow yard, and Ferrix is sort of a very industrial and a very competitive world. And I think you can sort of feel that in Bix. And I think the relationship she has with Cassian is really interesting to me. And I think fans are really going to like it and really going to like Bix because of sort of what she sort of goes throughout this whole show. I almost said something, but I didn't.
Yeah, don't. We're so close now. I love to. Diego has played this part in Rogue One, and he's reprising a role. I'd love to. Did he give you any advice about joining the Star Wars universe at all?
Yes, I think we spoke a lot. More than anything, he was so cool about answering my million questions that I had at all times, because it's, you want to portray a character in Star Wars and be careful with it, because you know just how many fans are going to be watching, and you sort of owe it to them to tell sort of this big story and do it right. So I asked so many questions, and it was so nice as well, because I was so terrified when especially the first day of filming was my introduction scene, and I was so nervous and I was so scared. And it was interesting because the second you clock eyes with Diego, he's Cassian. Like it was so easy to sort of be a little annoyed at him. I'm like, oh my God, this guy again. God, what does he want? And I think we all know that he's like always getting in trouble. And there's an energy that sort of Diego, it brings to this character that it's there from the second you lock eyes with him.
That's cool. I mean, I bet the sets help too. I'd love to hear about joining the Star Wars universe versus earlier this year you just joined the Marvel universe. Like, is there one that's more immersive? Is there like how do those experiences compare? Because they're two of the biggest franchises in the world. Yeah, I think they're very different. I think they share a lot of the same fans at times. So I know that when I was doing press for Morbius, I got all the Star Wars questions, and I was like, let's talk about Morbius. And I feel like even now in these interviews, there's people that are like, oh, I loved Morbius. So it feels cool to sort of, I feel like I've been part of it in a way for the past like couple of months since Morbius, because they do share fans. But I think Star Wars, there's something specifically about Star Wars that it's almost like you're going almost into history. That I think Marvel definitely felt bigger, but I think
there's something about Star Wars that just turned sort of my belly. I've also been a fan of Star Wars forever. So
that's awesome.
I mean, I believe it, but I think when you do this so much for the fans, that I think it's not real until the fans watch it.
Yeah. So I know the closest I'll come to Star Wars is Galaxy's Edge, which is good enough for me. I love that place. What was the moment for you where you were on set, you looked around, you were like, wow, we're in it. This is Star Wars. Was there like a specific prop? Really?
Every day. I'm in a very constant and a terrible acting choice, by the way. I'll be frank with myself. I was like, I'm going to play this and I'm going to pretend I'm not in Star Wars. So I can actually do my job well, because I'm such a fan and I would get so nervous. And I really thought I was going to be able to do it. And then I tried on the costume. I'm like, don't think I can get away with it. And then I stepped on set. I was like, oh no, I'm in Star Wars. You can't get away from it. It's everywhere. It's every prop that you pick up. It's every set you walk on. You're like, you look around and there's creature actors. There's this, everything's a constant reminder that you're part of this incredible universe. And it's every day is like a pinching moment. And I think for everyone, I think the crew feels it. I think the actors feel it. I think the directors, the writers, you don't lose that sort of little kid inside of you going, I'm in Star Wars.